Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. So for those of you who know, the PTS right now is live on PC and we've been playing the Summit, and I know those on console are kind of itching to want to play it, but just know it's the same division, but it does have some things to it. So there's just a little bit of frustration. I wish console players could actually play this because it will give everybody a feel as per performance, as per realistic nature of some of the missions. So the whole community can kind of get a feel for it. But the way it works right now, Sony and Microsoft do not make it easy for developers to be able to bring patches like these, and so Ubisoft has to deploy their own PTS directly through Uplay. So this is dealing directly with them. Everything through Sony and PlayStation is just a mess. If you're going to do a beta or a testing, you got to turn it in like 30 days earlier and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. But in the PTS on PC, if we say we need something patched, they can patch it within a few days once they can get around to it, or even maybe in like a few hours if they have somebody on staff. And that's different from console, if you get what I mean. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the positive sides of the Summit that we have so far in the PTS. And it took a while for me to be able to see this, and the only way I got to see it was with the experience. So I played Summit from level 1 through 30, and I played it solo and I played it in a group in 2 different settings, and level 1 through 30 by myself was actually a lot of fun. But you take a break from time to time, and then when I played it in a group, it was a little different. It felt like it lagged a little bit because there were a lot more enemies that we just had to keep, taking out and then just progressing our way. And I talked about those dynamics in another video. So what happened today was I was playing, and a very good friend of mine, a content creator as well, Agent, Shadow Gaming, he basically said, hey, I'm at floor 71. Why don't you guys join me? And, I joined him, and a bunch of other people on the stream today joined, and we went into the skyscraper and we played all the way from level 71 through level 91, which took us into the heroic and even the legendary side of the game. And I have to tell you, this is where this mode shines, in the hardest difficulty and in the most uncertain scenarios. That's where you're going to enjoy this mode. If you have been looking at this from the repetition from level 1 all the way through 100, you're not going to have to deal with that. I think this game mode is designed that when you blast your way through all the content, the easy, the hard, the challenging, the heroic, you're able to just make your way to any tower or any floor that you want in the tower and play from there onwards. So in your very first run, if you blow through 100, you're most likely never going to find yourself on anything lower than floor 80. And that's where I think this mode has a saving grace. So those first, 79 floors or whatever, they're just going to be those floors that kind of get you into the game, into the story, unless they add modifiers later on that allows for you to be able to play every floor on challenging or heroic difficulty, where everything is now scaled really hard until you get to those 81 floors. Then I don't see anybody coming back. But then think about it. It then puts it at a place where you have about 20 floors, right? 20 floors of just legendary gameplay. And this is where you as a player and you on your teammates will now have to really be on your toes, because if you make a single mistake or you make any stupid moves, you're wiped, and you're gonna have to either respawn or maybe go to like some save point. And this is, I think, where this mode is really going to win. Yes, there are aspects of the mode that need to be worked on, but trust me, if all you have to play is just 20 floors, then that's basically it. And a lot of people have been saying, this mode should not have had 100, should have had about 20. I agree, it should have had very little, but it has 20 of the more difficult floors, and that's going to be left and set aside for those who want to deal with it. Some people may not want to deal with legendary. I've seen people say, I don't want to be forced into playing legendary mode. Well, you have an option to play heroic. I've seen people say, I don't want to be forced into playing, all this stuff. Well, you can play challenging as well. So I think they've designed it to be able to cater to the difficulty levels that people want to play. The only thing is, you will have to go through the hardest difficulty to be able to get and achieve the exotic that's sitting after the 100th floor, which is actually an exotic quest. That's what you're going to have to deal with in order for you to be able to get that item. And so I think right now we're in a place where if you don't look at that positive side and you keep looking at the 1 through 100, you're looking at it from a rinse and repeat aspect. That's not how you're going to play it realistically. And so even today, when we, ran from the 71st to the 91st floor, I went back and I logged in personally, and apparently it saved my progress that I had actually gone. So I think I pretty much skipped all those floors all the way through to the legendary side of things. And I think that's actually pretty cool. I did find out that I was able to actually just by myself go to the 91st floor in the game. So what this means is I don't think anyone is going to have any problem with the repetitive nature of 100 floors. That's not what's going to happen. I think that is now a misconception that we need to kind of, put in the pocket, because right now this is starting to take some shape. You play through 100 floors, and then any other floor you wish to play to farm allocated loot, those are the floors that you're going to go. It also even brings the allocated loot thing back into place, because if you think about it, the allocated loot system is actually right now designated for the entire tower itself. And we talked about having different floors, being, separate in the loot that they allocate, but then it makes basically no sense if you're not going to be playing anything other than the floors that you want to play to get the quality of loot that you can get, or get the quality of loot that, will come with the floors that you want to play, then it makes no sense. So if a whole building is like shotguns, then you just go to the highest level of the difficulty challenge that you want to play, or the highest level of difficulty challenge that's available, and you get basically loot that aligns with it. So I see many people jumping into the legendary side of this, playing 20 floors and farming shotguns to be maybe able to get the new shotgun exotic, or maybe if it has submachine guns as its allocated loot, people just going into the legendary side and start farming the submachine guns. And even updates just came. I was talking to one of the, the agents playing with us and running these missions on the stream, Shadow. He said that even the Bighorn is going to be available to drop in the Summit mode. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually crazy, but it makes sense because legendary missions have the possibility of dropping the Bighorn. So I don't know if it's going to drop from enemy NPCs, or if it's going to drop from bosses that you meet at the end of the, every 10 floors, starting from floor 80 to 90 to 100. But that to me is actually pretty cool. And I say, with these few things and with these few developments and all this information, I think as a community, we now know kind of where to kind of put our foot on when it comes to critiquing and providing feedback. Anybody that's saying it looks repetitive and all that, you're looking at it from a superficial aspect. You're not looking at it from the aspect that you will probably not play, the first 80 floors ever again once you get past it. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about regarding the Summit mode. I'm really now much more excited having played those, I think it was 20 floors, and I played it on stream today. I appreciate all of you that actually jumped into it. You guys got to see how much more quiet everything got. In fact, there was a point in the stream where nobody was talking. There were like 70 people watching, and I didn't see a single comment for like 5 legendary floors. Like, we were picking up ourselves from the ground, scraping each other up from the floor, because those enemy NPCs will spawn randomly. Imagine legendary NPCs just spawning on you out of nowhere. I mean, it's different when random NPCs are just spawning, from all different kinds of doors. But when legendary NPCs spawn, you are on your toes, because at any rate, they will gank you, or they will just, play strategy on you and basically take you out. So that was really interesting, and that is where the fun in this mode is. So if you're looking for the fun aspect of this, this entire mode, you're not going to find it on, the very first few floors. I say when the challenge goes into heroic and goes into more directives, that's when you're going to start seeing some real decent challenge. And then once it hits the legendary, now you're playing at the highest possible level in the game. And I think that's where players are going to enjoy the mode. And I think that's where the replayability is going to come into place. Let me get out of your hair. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Now, another thing too is if you haven't played the mode, you're going to say you don't believe it, but you have to play it yourself to experience this. And I did not believe it until I played it myself. And I'll also be bringing some more gameplay to be able to showcase this, because this is actually pretty cool. So let's talk about that aspect of the game, the legendary aspect, and talk about, the mode from that perspective, because I feel like that's where our conversation will carry more weight. All right, I'll leave it to you now. I'll get out of your hair. Thank you so much for your time and audience, and hopefully we'll see you in another video. Peace out.